Here we are. And here we are at the after show afterthoughts. And here's Paul Willistein. Did I
Hello.
say that right?
Yes, my mother has pointed out, well, she did point out, my mother who lived to be 101 in 6 months, by the way,
Yes, I
uh,
remember. I remember. Yes, yes.
she would always say, I can't explain it, but there's something about the derivation and the E is before the I, so it's supposed to be pronounced like Bernstein, so it's supposed to be pronounced like Willistein.
Willistein. Okay, yeah, good. Whew. All right. In really looking at all of the articles that are on you and all of the things. I've been listening to your reviews. That's the other thing that I wanted people to know. I've really been enjoying them because, and I was wondering, that was before I knew that you had taught screenwriting, what you thought about movies. What about that particular art form, the screenwriting, does that help you when you go to a movie? What about the difference between a movie that you really cared for and one that you didn't care for? You don't have to say the names of them, but what was the difference in that?
Well, I, I think it was Alfred Hitchcock who said it best. He said it's kind of like in real estate, the three things you have to know in real estate are location, location, location. And Alfred
Hmm.
Hitchcock said the three things that are most important are screenplay, screenplay, screenplay in filmmaking. And he, of course, storyboarded everything. And so he knew exactly, and actors bristled at that too, by the way. And I'm sure people are aware of that if they have any knowledge about filmmaking and about Hitchcock. The He did not say that actors are like cattle, though. That's an apocryphal. uh,
Wait, say it again. He did not say actors are not what?
he allegedly said that actors are like cattle.
Oh no, he did. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
That
No.
was alleged, but uh, the point is that it begins with the screenplay, and then you go on from there. That's very important. So if I'm watching a film and if the dialogue isn't interesting, or if the screenplay, the shots, the setups are cliche, then I'm just not that interested in it. I'm very impressed. Not that I have to be dazzled all the time either, but it begins with the screenplay, and it begins with the dialogue. It begins with the delivery of the dialogue.
And
So
in
there's always,
that, is have you seen films that when adapted from novels, is it important that the original writer do the screenplay, or is it can someone take that work and then translate it into something that is as interesting as the novel was visually?
yes, the screenplay is separate from the novel. The screenplay is separate from the script of a play. It's its own entity, and it stands alone. And a novelist can sometimes adapt his or her own screenplay, and sometimes disastrously so. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there are techniques. There's a formula, and of course you can break that formula in screenwriting, but there is definitely a format to it.
Yeah. Well, I love so much of many things about the arts. I love recording of it, being a singer. That's a whole nother entity that most people don't understand. The interpretation of the song, um, not getting respecting what the composer and the lyricist had done, but putting your spin on it, but making it somewhat recognizable, so that when they hear their piece, they know that it's the piece that they wrote. You know, that's one
There's
of the things that's my concern. It's always, and the storytelling of it. And I think the storytelling of a song for me is like a monologue in a play or a monologue in a movie. in that it should be so very clear visually for me as the actor, for when I'm learning it, and so that clarity should be transferred to the audience members. So that, I think, is the connection for me from voice to theater to film and television. It's all that storytelling that I think that is connected. Now, I mean, I think that's the way I approach my work. I think that that's probably, if I had to describe myself, I think I'd describe myself as a storyteller.
That's great. And there's always a debate, the singer or the song. That's a long-standing debate. Is it the singer or the song? And I think in your instance and the way you describe it, it's the singer. Yes, you have to have material, but boy, it has to be interpreted, and I think you do that very well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. But I always think that it is so important that we respect the words. Now, being a writer, and when I direct with playwrights, one of the things that I try to insist upon the actors do is that they really work on the words verbatim, that the words have been placed there specifically for a purpose. And if you're having difficulty with them, that's the conversation that should be had, but you shouldn't try to replace them with something that makes the colloquial, your values a little bit more easier for you to say. Maybe they shouldn't be easier for you to do. Maybe you should use technique to get it done. What do you think about that? What do you think about that being the way?
No, that's very true. I think you have to respect the sanctity of the written word. And there are times in certain productions, and of course it's a technique, and it's called improvisation. And so that's all, that's very important. If the work is going in that direction, if the material, the subject, the performance requires improv, and then it's a meeting of the creatives in doing that. But basically, if the author, the playwright, the screenwriter chooses those words, I agree with you. There's a specificity there that needs to be honored.
I know I hope that we get a chance to do a project together. Yes, and the way that I work is to really honor what is being done there, what the writer has brought us. Then it is my job to try to, as a director, or as a director, is to honor the whole picture and put and enhance it with my place. And then I hand it to the actor. And as an actor, as I hand it over to me, I think that I should bring some of my life experiences to it without robbing it of the original value. And that's, I think that's the key. When you really, when the screenwriter, when the novelist and the screenwriter can say, this piece does reflect what I started out, I see in the film what I thought that I could see, and the theater piece, all of it. I don't know how visual arts fits into it, but I'm sure it's that what you think you start off as a visual artist, as a piece, and then when you wind up to it, does that say what you wanted to say? The arts are so fascinating for me. And I feel so very, very blessed, to be a part of it.
I agree.
And I've been all my life. So, yeah.
And it's just,
other choices, you could make other choices, but this was my choice.
Well, the endless fascination is, especially, well, in theater and movies, especially, and recently the title of the play that goes wrong, and now they're coming up with Peter Pan who goes wrong. I might have that second title incorrect, but they're doing another play like that. I mean, how creative. It's so great. It's so amazing to come up with ideas like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm old-fashioned and conservative, probably. Yeah, you know, I love black and white movies. I adore them. I mean, I don't like them when they're colorized. If you start off in color, that's fine. But I don't watch colorized black and white movies. I think that they were created in a certain way. And what people don't understand is though they were created in a black and white set so that the
Mhm.
grays were specifically there and all of that. And they represented a certain art form. And so I appreciate that art form. Uh, but my husband says that I'm old fashioned anyway. I like the old cars. I like vintage jewelry. I like vintage clothing. I'm probably from another era, and here I am in the 21st
Right.
century. But
That's,
I like the arts. I think the way I thought it was, even though it wasn't inclusive for me as a person of color, but in the 40s when there was elegance,
mhm.
when there was purpose to it, when everything had, when everyone really wanted to create the world of magic, because I do
Mhm.
believe that it's a world of magic. And that the whole thing is that we have to be real. I don't need you to be real. I'm real already. I don't want to pay for real.
That's
I
good.
want to pay for real.
Yeah.
Real. I'm already real.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
real on the news. I see too much
I
real
hear
on the
you.
news. I think that some of the magic is that we, we create a facade, and
Mhm.
the convention that we give to the audience and say, this now, just relax and let us take you into our fairyland.
Mhm.
They go along with us, and that's what they're paying for, that escapism. And the whole trend of everything had to get really real with Roseanne, I think, started that whole sitcoms when you had to get really gritty, and I was like, okay, that's okay. That works for me for a minute, but I don't want everybody to follow all of that every single time. Yeah, no, everybody shouldn't have pearls and vacuum like Donna Reed. No, no. I mean, that I was part of that too, but there's a fine line in that we
Yeah.
can dispense healthy and realistic characters without
Mhm.
making them too gritty and without making them too stereotypical. And that's where the work comes in.
That's right.
That's when it gets harder to do. And that's when I appreciate it when I see that.
That's true.
Oh, well,
Thank-
I've now taken up your evening. Thank you
That's
so
all
much,
right.
Paul.
I'm enjoying it. We should we
Yeah.
should meet like this more often.
Say it again.
Yeah. We'll meet like this more often.
Oh,
How's
yes.
that?
I would like us to. Yes, yes. We really should. And I will be listening to your reviews more. I think I listened to 4 of them today, and
Yeah,
2 yeah,
on
yeah. I think
WB.
I listened to 3 today, and 2 the other day.
Yeah,
And
they're available on the
and I haven't
WB
been
app.
able to get out to film, so they
Sure.
kind of gave me an insight
Uh-huh.
thank you very much for
You're
that,
welcome.
really. Um, all right, my friend, I'm going to end this, but you stay on for 1 moment, okay?
All
Afterwards,
right.
I want to thank
Sure.
everyone for coming. I have my wonderful, wonderful guest. I have something in the Q&A though before we go off. There's a question. Um, oh my gosh, listen, I have a master of I believe of movement, and I don't say just dance, I say movement, because she's been on Broadway many, many times, uh, for 4 year stretch in Chicago, and I've been studying with her for the last, I guess, 6 months, and she's now on this webinar, and she says this: I am enjoying this conversation so much. I feel like I'm listening to masters sharing their craft. Thank you both. Isn't that lovely?
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Manny Duncan Gibbs, because you are a master of what it is that you do. And you should know that. And people are beginning to realize that, I really do enjoy her perfectionism, you know. And thank you. Maybe if you have anything you want to say, I can allow you to talk, but you've typed it in. Do you have anything that you would like to say? She's muted already. She's staying
Okay.
muted. She's not going to say anything. Not this
All
time.
right.
Okay. All right. Um, Paul, I want to
Yes.
thank you so very, very much for
You're
giving us your time, giving me your time this evening, for bearing with the program with it, where I almost
welcome.
couldn't talk, but
Yeah.
they found a way to let me get back in again. I think that they're having trouble. I think Blog Talk is having trouble more than with me, because they told me how to get back on using my own
I,
phone. So there must be some difficulty there. But I thank you for that. Thank you for coming in on this segment. And thank you everyone for listening to the After Show Afterthoughts. And with that, I shall end this recording. See you next time. And I don't know exactly when that'll be, determining on whether or not I have jury duty. Talk to you soon. See you on the radio.